What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I know I've missed doing the Monday kickoff video the other day, guys, but I'm finally back at home, back in the UK, and we're gonna slowly catch up and check out what is happening this week. But first, I want to talk about the upcoming fusion. As I've mentioned last week, be prepared for it. Most likely, they will announce it next week, and here it is. We're going to have a look at the champion, see if it's actually worth it. Let me know in the comments down below, how is your day going? How is your week going so far? We still have the boosted summons for the soul stones. I haven't got anything good out of it. We have a 1+1 on sacred shards for whoever is close to the mercy or willing to basically drop some sacred shards. Personally, I'm not going to take part in it because I'm pretty off from the mercy. I actually got a legendary recently, and yeah, it's pretty pointless for me to try. We have a bunch of good events going on at the moment. We have the Gear Ascension tournament, this champion training tournament that I actually got to complete because we do get pretty good rewards from here, especially that mythical book. And I'm all about mythical books nowadays, so I definitely want to get that. I actually wish I would go for the first place, but honestly, I just don't have what champions to level up and stuff, so it's pointless for me to try that. Seems like we're getting more events that are actually giving us essence, which is actually great. But leaving all that on the side, no summoning events have been announced except the 1+1 sacreds. I think this weekend we should have a 2x on something. Most likely it will be on ancients, but I'm not 100% sure because they kind of like messed up the entire schedule. So, a new fusion, as I've mentioned, and probably you guys saw all of the teasers going on about the community event, the trivia dungeon. Definitely stay tuned on the 8th of May for that event, guys. You're going to be able to earn free rewards and stuff like that. Plus, you're going to actually watch a pretty good show. But talking about more important stuff, next Monday, 5th of May, they are planning to launch a champion fragment event for a new champion, Ishiyama The Immovable. He's going to be a SHADOWKIN champion, legendary HP base spirit affinity. So it's not looking like it's going to be a reviver or anything like that, right? I feel like recently they added quite a few damage dealers to this faction. Very curious to see if this is an actual damage dealer. Ishiyama The Immovable is a HP based damage dealer, with Arena being his prime battleground. Despite having a handful of debuffs in his kit, you can totally ignore accuracy in favor of more offensive stats as you bring another debuff champion on your team. Ishiyama has no need for attack stats, but his damage will greatly benefit from HP and crit damage instead. So, let's actually have a look to see what this champion can do, guys. This is the champion. Design-wise, I'm not his biggest fan. It seems like he holds two balls of fire right there, so I definitely don't want to mess up with this bad boy. But he's not my most favorite looking champion, to be honest with you guys. So, Spirit Affinity HP base. With a A1, Burning Comet attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. If this champion is under any debuffs when attacked, counterattacks with this skill. So, sounds pretty decent. Nothing spectacular in the A1. He needs to be under debuffs. I wish it would have been the other way around. If the enemy is under debuffs, he will counterattack. That would make more sense because that would be more viable for PvE content as well. You need 4 books for the A1 on its own to get 20% more damage. Now, with the A2, Calculated Volley attacks all enemies, and this will be on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked. You need 5 more books in here, and this bad boy actually loves freaking reading because we need 9 books only for the first 2 skills. Then, as I've mentioned, he attacks all enemies, has a chance of placing a fear debuff and a decreased crit damage debuff and a decreased crit rate debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted by enemies who are already under 2 or more debuffs. This sounds to me similar with the Madame series meta. You know, defense down, attack down, and then he comes in with this because it's not going to be resistible. I don't think this sounds pretty interesting, to be honest. Like, unless he has like some crazy ass multipliers, I'm not a fan of his A2 either. Same with A1. You already need 2 debuffs to don't resist this. Now, when you're building a damage dealer, guys, the main thing is that you need to focus damage if you want to get damage out of the champion. When you need to bring accuracy in play and all that stuff, you're already sacrificing damage, and it's definitely not a good thing for damage dealers. You need somebody else to go in here and basically apply other debuffs in front of him to ensure that you don't need accuracy. So it really depends what sort of damage he deals, but 3 different debuffs are not looking too bad. Not great for Hydra necessarily. Decreased crit damage, decreased crit rate is kind of like pointless, but hey. With the A3, finish them. Sounds like a fatality from Mortal Kombat. This will be on a 3-turn cooldown fully booked. He needs 3 more books in here, which means a total of 12 books. 20% more damage, and he will attack 1 enemy. Will ignore 25% of the target's defense. Will ignore 50% of the target's defense instead if the target is under 2 or more debuffs. You see, this is what it's supposed to be on the A1 as well. It will counterattack if the target is under 2 or more debuffs, not if the champion is under debuffs. It just makes more sense to basically have more synergy with his entire kit, right? Yeah, ignoring 50% of the target's defense conditional can be good. He doesn't ignore Strengthen, Shield, Stone Skin, and any other buff known to humankind, unfortunately. So that on its own, it just doesn't sound as good. With the passive, the Immovable, which should basically decrease the amount of accuracy that we need, at least that's what I understood from their message. Whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by this champion, the next debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted. Which means that yes, indeed, we can build him with no accuracy whatsoever, because if an enemy resists the fear, the decreased crit rate, or the decreased crit damage, depending on which order it goes, it will basically be placed on the enemy without requiring accuracy. And I've just realized I actually missed the block damage part on the A3, I think. Places the block damage buff on the champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So that's actually nice because it's for 2 turns. One of the main issues with the champion, Spirit Affinity, you guys know the drill with Spirit Affinity champions, especially damage dealers in the current meta, not looking too good, right? A lot of magic champions in the meta. Each debuff placed by this champion will increase their max HP by 3%, stacking up to 30%. So you're going to gain an additional 30% HP from the passive if you're going to land 10 debuffs with his A2 skill. So basically, you need to use that skill 4 times at least to reach the 30%, right? Because you need 10 debuffs. And you have an increases ally HP in all battles by 28%. Now, personally, I just do not think that this champion is wow. Okay, I gotta see the multipliers to really kind of like make the final call on the champion. But his skill set feels pretty underwhelming for the current meta. As I've mentioned, it kind of feels like a champion that would go back into the Madame series meta, which was like, what, 3 years ago or something like that. So definitely nothing too exciting. Now, on the other hand, we might have the Faction Wars hard mode, where we require some conditions to land 10 debuffs on the boss or something like that to 3-star stages. And he will actually be helpful with the decreased crit damage, decreased crit rate, fear, and you can bring other debuffs from other champions. But just for that specific thing, I just don't necessarily think that is a must-get champion or anything like that. Now, on the other hand, the main thing that I actually like about it is that this is a fragment event fusion, which means that you can collect as many fragments as you want. And if by any chance you're not able to get the fusion done, you can always use those fragments to get mod, right? Which is actually a much better support character for the Sacred Order. And maybe you're gonna get all of the fragments to get a hero. To be on the champion, to be honest, fragment events tend to be slightly easier than the classic fusions or the hybrid fusions, right? Which actually puts a lot of the players in a much better spot. Now, there is another catch right here, and that is the Titan event. Basically, this weekend, we're going to have another summoning event that will give us more Titan points. Now, it really depends how many points you accumulated before, right? If you're trying to get a soul or you're trying to get a mythical book, you might need to do some summoning over the weekend. It should be a champion chase tournament. Ancient shards, a couple of fusions, epics, etc., broadmass, rally keepers might get you to the right spot to accumulate enough Titan points. If you skipped the deck of fate, then of course you will need to go pretty hard on the champion chase to get those Titan points, which will slowly leave us uncovered for the next weekend on the Summon Rush, when we're gonna try to go for the fusion. I think I might go for the fusion, to be honest, just because I've skipped the last one. But I'm not completely sold on the champion or anything like that. I don't think he's OP or anything spectacular. It might be helpful for the faction wars. That's basically my my main thing on him. Even though I have most of the champions, we have Zenogre right here, which does bring quite a few interesting things to the table as well. Lich, decrease attack. We're going to get the weaken. She brings quite a few debuffs on her own. Then we can pair her with a ninja, maybe a Mishinaki, maybe a Raiho Bone Spear if you have her. And I feel like those 10 debuffs will be an easy peasy, right? So I think I'm going to test the champion first and decide after. Maybe I'm just going to continue to save shards for the next fusion or whatever event we might have going on in the meantime. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What do you think about the Fusion Champion? As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. If you enjoyed the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, do me a solid and drop a comment, help out with that YouTube algorithm, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.